Greetings, Cleveland, and welcome to Creative Focus, the show that illuminates some of Cleveland's most talented and creative artists across the genres of film, dance, music, theater, and visual arts. I'm your host, Cornell Calhoun III, and I'm thrilled to have on my show today vocalist, actress, educator, and my former star student, Nicole Sturdivant. Lauren, welcome to Creative Focus.
Thank you.
Let's chop it up, girl. So you came out of Glenville High School, room 244, drama 101 and 102. And
Playwriting.
yes, creative, I forgot about that. And poetry. So tell us how all this arts and performing came to pass for you.
So originally I started as a music person. I was very into singing all my life, sang in church choirs, things like that. So that's kind of where I got into the arts world. And then I started writing poetry, and then poetry led me to you, because you were the poetry advisor in high school, and then I was tricked into acting.
And how were you tricked into acting?
Because as the poetry club person, I came to do poetry, and then afterwards you had me stay, and you're like, I need you to read this because the person couldn't make it. And I said, okay. And then that became a normal thing until like 2 weeks had gone by, and you said, you know you're playing this role, right? And I said, yeah, I figured. So I had never thought about acting before. So yes, I was tricked into acting by you.
You were tricked into
I was
acting
tricked.
by me. Okay.
Yes.
And after Glenville, and actually I was just at Glenville 2 weeks ago. I saw our principal, Jacqueline Bell, who's retiring.
Yes.
Incredible woman, incredible educator. So after Glenville, then where did your journey take you?
I went to Hiram College. I studied music education there, and I also wanted to do a double major in English, creative writing. I wanted to be an English teacher, but they made me choose because they said I wouldn't be able to graduate in 4 years if I did both. So I ended up sticking with music ed and got my bachelor's in that, and then went to Kent State a year later for my master's in music education, choral education focus.
And you actually directed your first play at Hiram,
I
right?
did,
And
my first full play.
Tell us about that.
I did a show at Hiram my freshman year there, but there wasn't a lot of things geared towards the African American community. So I was convinced by one of the person over diversity to put on a show because she knew I liked doing shows and things like that. So I talked to my mom, and she's like, oh, there's this show we did at Cleveland State, and I think it would be perfect. So they found the script. My aunt found the script, and then I updated it and put it on. So it was the first time Hiram had ever had a Black play done. And it was a great experience.
What was the title of the play?
CP Time.
CP Time. Colored People's Time. Colored People's Time.
Yeah.
And what do you remember most about? What was the most difficult thing about directing your first play? Would you say?
There were several challenges, actually. The first one, because I would advertise it on our broad email system that we could send out to the community or whatever. And I advertised it as a Black History Month play because it was in February and things like that. And so that sparked a whole debate about, well, why do we need to celebrate Black history? Why don't we celebrate white history? So it became so much that the diversity department ended up putting on this forum where we can talk and discuss. So all this because I brought a play. And then after that happened too, I also had some incidents with some of my cast members because a lot of them had never acted before. And because I had been under a director who was this is how it is, this is my expectations, I kind of was the same way. And I'm not just going to let you do whatever you want, whenever you want. So, but once we got past through that, it was a great show. It was a great experience.
And who was the director that That disciplinarian?
You.
Oh, good. Okay. All right. So I just can't win today.
It's okay.
And currently, what is your position currently when you're not doing theater and musical theater and films? What is your current position?
I am the vocal music director and choir director for South Euclid-Lyndhurst schools. And then I also took over the fall play, the musical, and I also do a Black History Month show for South Euclid-Lyndhurst School District.
Yes, I am so proud of you.
Thank you.
And you know, the pinnacle, I believe the pinnacle for a teacher, a professor, a mentor is to perform with that mentee. And in 2012, you and I performed in August Wilson's Gem of the Ocean,
Yes.
directed by Michael Oatman.
Yes.
You played Black Mary,
I did.
and I was your brother Caesar. And here's a picture from that performance. Oh, wow. So tell me, what are your aspirations professionally and as an educator, or just simply as a performer? What are your aspirations now?
Right now, my focus is just to build the program at South Euclid-Lyndhurst. I'm very passionate about the arts. It's not something I want to do professionally on a professional level, but if I can help those students or that want to do that as a professional level get to that, then I'm satisfied. Down the line, I also want to open my own fine arts academy situation, kind of like the supplemental center that used to be in Cleveland a long time ago, where kids could come and take music lessons, stuff like that for free. So I want to expand it to all the arts. So that's something I would like to do.
Yeah, we just had a conversation about that. Some of my colleagues were just talking about how that benefited so many students back then. Yeah, that's tremendous. Now, you just came off of what I think is remarkable, back-to-back musicals. You did Color Purple at Weathervane,
Yes.
under the direction of our friend Richard Morris.
Yes.
And then you did Rent at Cassidy Theater. Tell us a little bit about those productions, how grueling it was, if it was grueling, maybe not for you, but.
Honestly, it's always a little rough to be in shows while teaching and having your own rehearsals for shows. So it was difficult January, February, and then because I was preparing for the Black History show. And then after that was done, I was preparing for the spring musical. So driving back and forth to Weathervane, not getting home till after midnight, having to get up at 5:30 in the morning to get ready for work, and then stay all day at work, and then drive the hour to Weathervane. So, and the weather, of course, wasn't always the nicest.
Sure.
So that was pretty stressful. And then the turnaround, I really wasn't going to do Rent, but my costumer saw, they were also the assistant costumer of Rent. And they told me, you have to audition, Miss S. You gotta go for it, you gotta go for it. So I auditioned because they told me to audition and ended up getting cast. So it was a great experience. It was a little easier because I had finished my performances, the concerts, all that. So by the time I was really into the choreography and things like that, I was done with my obligations at work, so.
Okay. Do you remember the first time you were on stage?
Ever?
As an actress?
As an actress, it was You Are On My Flowers at Glenville.
On My Flowers,
Yes.
okay. And tell me a little bit about that experience beyond the fact that you were tricked into it by me. Do you recall?
It was a great experience. I was nervous because I had never done anything like that outside of, church, Christmas, Easter speeches and stuff like that. So this was my first time my mom had seen me act, and my mom is a very honest person, so she keeps me humble, and she will be the first to tell me if my performance isn't good. And when she saw me, she was just amazed and shocked. So when she commented like that, I said, oh, well, maybe I'm not too bad at this acting thing. So.
Tell me about your most memorable performance. I think all of us as performers have a moment when, it's a swag moment. It's a moment when you know you nailed something. What would that be for you with all your experience now in performing? Or maybe I'll make it easier for you. Do you have one performance in a production that stands out to you, that you just think you were the best?
That's a tough one. I think I've had a lot of moments like that. So overall, the moments that I always find memorable is when I hear the audience reaction, whether they're hating me or whether they're like, oh, baby, or, just hearing that feedback from the audience when I'm on stage, like not afterwards in their session, not during the applause, but actually hearing them commenting on something I said or did. That always makes me almost break character, right? Because I'm like, yes, I'm doing my job, but it's that instant gratification that I'm doing something right.
Okay, so we have a clip of Lauren Sturdivant in the award-winning film A Raging Silence. So let's take a look at that.
Move along. Ain't nothing to see. If you ain't rolling, roll on by. What's so quiet?
Why talk?
We on top, homie.
Top of what?
Top of the world, homie.
Central Avenue?
This can all be ours soon.
Don't count on it.
Young Plato moving up on the ladder. And it's something fierce. He gonna be a big general, wearing big suits, filling big shoes. Bet he talking to Big Perez right now. And who else better to run Central Avenue than us? Lots of heroes out here dead, homie. So be it. We all heroes. Don't you believe in the afterlife?
Afterlife? All we got is now. The COP is family first.
Too young.
The COP moves in order. You'll just send a mentor, an overseer.
An overseer?
Seen it 100 times. Besides, it's our last duty with young Plato. Luca called me. We've been reassigned to Fat Dollar. You gotta wear your designer outfits on Kinsman.
Guess I gotta do what I gotta do.
So Lauren, what do you remember about that film?
I remember.
Do you remember it raining when we were shooting?
It started raining towards the end.
Yes.
Yeah, it started raining towards the end, and you were getting upset because we kept having to reshoot. It was different for me because I'm not a film actor. I don't consider myself a film actor. I'm used to one take and that's it. It is what it is. So having to shoot multiple times from different angles and because things didn't look right, I'm like, I don't know that I want to do this. This is too much. So it was a different experience, but I enjoyed it.
What is the audition process for you? I know a lot of performers, they always say they don't do well at auditions, but they get the parts, and then other people who do well at auditions and get the parts. What's the audition process for you?
At the beginning, I absolutely hated it. My first time really auditioning for a show was for Gem of the Ocean. And I didn't know the audition process. I didn't know you didn't have to memorize the script. So I just memorized it, and I think that kind of impressed Oatman, because I don't think a lot of people do that. But then again, like I said, that was my first audition, so I didn't know that wasn't what you had to do. And I kind of kept that with me. I try to memorize. If I'm given a cold read, I try to memorize it. So it was very heartbreaking when I would go out for a role and I thought that I nailed the audition and I didn't get it. The more that I've done it, I'm at the point now where it's, you know, just because I didn't get the role doesn't mean I wasn't good. It just meant that the director had a different vision. So I don't take it personally anymore. And then as a director myself, especially with kids, I realize that too. It's like, oh, it wasn't that you were bad. I just have this vision in mind, you know.
So what type of director, this is a two-pronged question.
Okay.
What type of director appeals to you, and what type of director are you?
I like a director who's organized, who doesn't waste my time, who gives me direction, but doesn't overstep. On this line, I want you to go over here and say this in this manner. I don't like those type of directors because I feel like you're not letting me be an artist, and that's what performing is. But I don't want you so fluid that I'm asking you questions and you're not helping me. Like, you're supposed to direct me, you're supposed to guide me. So I like those type of directors that know the fine line between the two. Let me be the artist, but still give me direction when I'm needed. I try to be the same type of way. I try to create experiences for my students so that when they do go out to the world, they've heard this before. They know what to expect from directors. They know how to adjust. I don't always make decisions for my kids. I will let them try to float by themselves. And then when I see them get frustrated, then I'll step in, you know, and I'll give them, to me, that gives them confidence, because then they start making decisions for themselves. And they got to the point by the end of the show when they'll ask me a question and I just look at them and they'll say, yeah, I got to make a decision. I'm like, oh, you're learning, you know? So, but it gave them confidence to try to figure out what they want to do, because in my mind, it makes the acting more real because it's coming from them and not me telling them to do something.
So what was the title of the play that I came to see at Brush that you directed?
You
with the
saw
kids?
in the fall Check Please and
Yes.
Check Please Too.
Yes, and that was an incredible performance by those students. I mean, you did a masterful job. That play was so tight, it was almost incredible that was a high school performance. So have any of those kids gone on to still pursue theater, or do you know?
I had several students that graduated. Some are going on to keep up with their arts. I had a couple that got scholarships to Bethune-Cookman College to sing in the choir. Some of my kids that were in the show and also in choir at one point in time. And then the one male lead, the male who played Guy, Michael Anderson, he's actually writing our fall play. So I'll be putting on his fall play this school year.
Yeah, that's incredible. And, you know, also, if we go all the way back to Glenville High School and room 244, so many of those class members are still in the arts. Titus Covington is doing films in Arizona. Lucky Nicole is directing plays in Texas. And Willie Johnson just did a documentary film about Glenville. So when you see your students go on in an area that you helped them pursue, it's just, you know, it's just great. Are there any performers that you admire, that you try to emulate, would you say? Do you watch a lot of TV or no? Movies?
Not really. I prefer to read, just because I like writing too. So I feel the more I read, the more I can mature my own writing style. I do like Angela Bassett. I think she has a wide range, and I love seeing how she transform a character. So she's one that comes off my mind, that I think she's an amazing actress.
Okay, so let's look at an amazing actress, Nicole Sturdivant, in the play Any Man in 5 Cents Will Take a Colored Girl All the Way to Nowhere.
I won't pick up a man, and he won't pick up me. Don't go that way. You can never know where your crazy heart wants to go. Love's a baby that grows up wild, and he don't do what you want him to. Love ain't nobody's angel child, and he won't pay any mind to you. One man gives me his diamond stud, and I won't give him a cigarette. One man treats me like I was mud, and all I got, that man can get. Any man in 5 cents will pay a colored girl's fare all the way to nowhere. All the while he was grinning and reassuring me that nowhere was somewhere I needed to be, somewhere other colored girls before me had gone. I had made up in my mind to go to nowhere with this man. I realized I shouldn't go by myself. I could have gone by myself and spent my own 5 cents, but since he was willing to take me, I might as well let him spend his. Sometimes you ride the roller coaster not because you enjoy the ride. Sometimes you ride purely for the sake of an adventure. Sometimes you ride to find out who you are. Many times along the ride, you discover who he is. A roller coaster can make you do a whole lot of thinking. Do I continue to ride on this ride? Or do I get off? Like having to pee in the Dick's cup because you ain't allowed in the bathroom because of the color of your skin. You say, what is a colored girl gonna do? Am I gonna pee in this cup? Or am I gonna walk away? So when I finally arrived to nowhere with this man and his 5 cents, I looked around and I was the only colored girl there. He had lied to me. Men will lie at the drop of a hat. Most men are habitual liars. Ask a married one if he's married if you don't believe me. There weren't any other colored girls there. Just me. I looked around and said to myself, well, I'll be damned.
You did an exceptional job playing Carmen Jones.
I love Carmen Jones.
Yeah, and you were dressed almost, that was the same outfit. So you went out and bought the outfit and stuff?
I used to watch Carmen Jones as a kid, so I knew the outfit perfectly.
You knew the outfit, the mannerisms,
Yep.
you had it all down pat.
Dorothy Dandridge, loved her. Yep.
Is there something that you believe separates the great performer with the good and not so good performer? What do you think a true performer needs to just wow his audience?
I feel that they need the passion and they need to be teachable. You cannot go in thinking that you're the best because there's always something to learn from an experience, whether it's a good director or a bad director. You can learn from it. And if you're so hard-headed and feel like you know everything, then you're not going to get anything out of it, and it's going to ruin your performance. So you have to be willing to humble yourself and listen and do your best to convey what they want.
If you had a dream character to portray, who would she be?
I thought about this question, and I don't know that there's any one person. I think it's more so about what the character is and their moral compass. Like, I'm very particular in the shows that I'll audition for. I don't want to be seen as the stereotypical Black woman. So I try to avoid those roles because I feel reality TV does enough to destroy our character. So I want to play a role that's inspirational, that a girl can look at and say, oh, I can do that, or I want to be that when I grow up, you know? So that's the type of characters and roles I like to play. I like to play characters that maybe start off one way and you see the growth and change throughout the show.
And what do you enjoy most about performing?
Not being me. It's a chance to play somebody else that I would never imagine being. I like playing roles that's just completely opposite of who I am and what people know I am. So when they see me and they're like, you know, it's just that shock appeal. So.
How did you enjoy playing Jamaica Pearl?
That was one of the roles that's completely opposite of me. So, yeah, that was one of the first roles that I feel was completely different from the character and the person, the professional that I am, or the professional that I was when I was playing that role as the best hooker on 34th Street, you know, and 43rd Street. And, you know, we're in the short dresses and the hair, and, you know, hearing the audiences make comments as I come out, and, you know.
Putting the money in the garter.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the people, you don't have to do that, baby. Somebody said that one night.
Oh,
yeah. While I was on stage, you don't have to do that. So trying to keep that straight face, like, you know, this is not what I do for real.
Right.
So, yeah.
Well, hey, let's take a look at a clip from Lauren as Jamaica Pearl in The Mighty Scarabs, an East Tech story.
He's changing little by little each day. He started using his own product. Lots of mood swings. He added a couple more girls, which I don't mind, but he's more demanding than ever, completely obsessed with money. Doesn't matter how much we bring in, it's never enough. He's never satisfied. He's starting to get real mean, real quick to use his fists. Kimberly's second was never like that. He was always so sweet.
Girl, what you gonna do? You gotta do something.
I ain't gonna do nothing.
Well, it's only gonna get worse. I watched my mother take all them beatings from my daddy, and I said never. Not me. The first time a man puts his hands on me, the last time.
I am my mother's daughter. Red Delight. You remember? She was legendary. She worked East 55th Street and Dillis. Mr. Sweets was her pimp. Mr. Sweetside. She looked like a model, but she was just a whore. One of the best money makers to ever hit East 55th Street, everyone says. Red Delilah, she broke tradition. She was a contradiction of what East 55th whores were back then. Full-figured, loud, boisterous. Not Red Delilah. She had light hazel eyes and yellow-toned skin. She wore her hair down her back in a single, long, silky ponytail. Ooh, she moved like a dancer, a ballerina on incredible legs, tapering down to small ankles and feet. She looked like a Jamaican princess. When Red Delilah walked down East 55th Street, the men, young and old, black and white, took notice, and more often than not, followed single file behind her. Ain't nobody around here ever been able to attract a procession like that. Red Delilah, simply gorgeous. A lot of the same features she passed down to me. Some physical ones and some deeper ones too. Same features, same demons. I didn't even cry when they called to tell me Mr. Sweets had killed my mama. She had told me 2 weeks before he was going to kill her.
Leave. Walk away,
If I
girl. You
left
can't
him,
believe that anyhow.
You know I was seeing Mr. Sweets.
Jamaica Pearl. No. No. Girl, you can't.
It's okay. He said he was real sorry. Said he didn't even mean to kill her. I gotta go. Find Mr. Johnny Dollar and put King Louis second notes.
You be careful out there in them streets, Jamaica Pearl. You be careful out there in them streets and at home. Jamaica Pearl. Jamaica Pearl, you hear me?
Wow. I will never forget that performance. My mentor, Dorothy Silver, was in the audience for that performance. Do you think growing up in Glenville influenced you any way in your artistic journey?
Glenville, yes. When it comes to a lot of things, I think Cleveland, just being in Cleveland schools, period. Because I had some great educators that pushed me to do things that I didn't think I was capable of.
And tricked you.
And tricked me into stuff.
Things right,
so
yeah.
like even elementary school, I had a music teacher who saw something in me and tried to get my mom to put me in CSA for singing. And then going to middle school and writing and getting the English award in middle school, and then coming to high school and meeting you and Miss Forte and Mr. Mandel and expanding my writing and finding out, oh, I don't have to just write poetry. I can write plays. I can write stories. And then acting. So it was my whole Cleveland education, I feel, that truly made me not only the educator that I am today, but the artist that I am today.
It's amazing that you didn't go to Cleveland School of the Arts, you know?
Well, at the time, I didn't know that. I knew I wanted to be a teacher. I always wanted to be a teacher my whole life. I just didn't know what I wanted to teach. And my mom felt, if you're not going to pursue a career in the arts, I'm not going to take that space for somebody who wants to. So, and she also knew I couldn't handle criticism well at the time. So,
do you have a preference, musical theater or drama? Does it matter?
It doesn't matter. If I have to pick, I would probably say drama over music theater, because I don't see myself, I see myself as a dancer, but if you had to break it down, dancing is my third or my triple threat. So.
And you've worn so many hats, actress, stage manager, director. Is there a preference there, or does it matter?
It depends on my mood. I love the stage, but now I'm starting to venture out into more so directing. I'm actually musical directing a show coming up, Gypsy in Medina. So we have auditions this week.
So what venue in Medina?
Medina Theater. It's the theater down.
Oh, you just getting big time, man.
yeah.
Man, I need to retire. You just getting big time, man. So, what do you enjoy about working with young people?
They keep me young. I get to be silly with them. I get to help them navigate through life. I try to be that teacher that they can come to and talk to about anything and guide them. I'm very honest with the advice that I give them, and I want the best for them. And a lot of times, I was blessed. I had quite a few Black female teachers. I know some people didn't have that coming, but my kindergarten teacher was, my second and third grade teacher was, so I was under strong Black educators. Miss Bell. So having them being able to see that and relate and understand, like, hey, you don't have to fit this mold. You can do some awesome stuff and be successful. So I just like being that role model, I guess you can say.
And what principles do you try to instill in them, would you say? What's important, do you think, that's beyond the performance?
I just want them to just live their best life. Don't get caught up in what everybody else is doing. You know, if you have a talent, if you have a gift, use that talent and use that gift to take you wherever you want to go, you know? So that's, I think, more than anything, try to instill a sense of pride and self-esteem in them, because I know how hard it is growing up and being, you know, not as confident.
Okay, so let's take a look at Lauren with her students. She's become a fabulous educator, and let's share a clip. Remarkable. So, what can we expect from Lauren Sturdivant in the future?
Still building my program, working more and more towards that Fine Arts Center. That's really a goal that I'm really manifesting and wanting to get off the ground, because I feel it's necessary and is needed. I want to give back to my kids the way that my educators gave to me and poured into me. I want to keep doing the same thing so that the cycle can continue to go.
Well spoken. I would like to thank my special guest, Lauren Nicole Sturdivant, for hanging out with me today on Creative Focus. But remember, a true artist is not only inspired, but inspires others. I'm Cornell Calhoun III for TV 20 and Creative Focus. Until the next time becomes our time, be well, be safe.